Well, the next instalment of Ask Andrew is a question from Lachlan, and Lachlan wants to know how I'm going to deliver heavy rail to the Sunshine Coast into Maroochydore. Well, Lachlan, this is something that I've been working on my entire time in Parliament since 2016. In 2022, Ted O'Brien and I secured the first instalment of $1.6 billion to bring rail in from Beerwah to Caloundra, and then ultimately Maroochydore. Now that was in 2022, 3 years ago. We were being told back then that the rail to Maroochydore could have been completed in 8 years. Well, that is before the 2032 Olympics and Paralympic Games. Well, it's now 2025 and we're now inside that window of opportunity, which is a real shame because the last 3 years have been a wasted opportunity. And it's been a wasted opportunity by the former Labor state government. They did not commit to this project for over 2 years. It was only in July of 2024 that Stephen Miles came out just prior to the state election and jumped on the bandwagon and said that they would build rail to Caloundra, not to Maroochydore, but only to Caloundra. So this has been a total balls up from the former Labor state government. They sat on their hands, they did nothing, and when it looked like they were going to lose the seat of Caloundra, which they did, thankfully, they jumped in and said, well, we'll build rail to Caloundra, but we'll stop it there. So I will continue to put pressure on the state government, the current state government. They committed to this project all the way to Maroochydore. I'll continue to put pressure on them. I'll continue to put pressure on the Labor federal government, and I'll continue to put pressure on my own federal party to ensure that we get this rail. Sunshine Coast deserves heavy rail. Over 100 years ago, everybody lived in the hinterland, no one lived on the coast. It made sense to put the rail where it was. But now the vast majority of people live on the coast. And it's so important for just our ability to be able to get around intra-Sunshine Coast and for people to be able to travel to Brisbane. So this heavy rail is so incredibly important. I do not accept Sunshine Coast 2032's back of the envelope estimate that this is now going to cost $20 billion. That was literally a calculation that was done on the back of an envelope without any justification, without any authority or any kind of real substance. The last figure I have seen is that it would cost around $15 billion. Even that is, in my view, overblown. Ought to take it all the way to Maroochydore. But the important thing is that we get cracking on this project. Every day that we delay is another additional cost. It's more cost blowouts. If we had done this project 2 decades ago, like the former state Labor governments had been promising, the Sunshine Coast wouldn't be dealing with this issue right now, and we'd have much better public transport connectivity. But although public transport is not the responsibility of the federal government, I will continue to push both governments at a state and federal level, no matter who's in power. The Sunshine Coast needs this project, and I won't stop until we get it done.